Hi guys! So today we're going to be talking about some different techniques you can apply to improve your singing, and also to make sure you're doing it safely and not doing anything that can possibly damage your voice. Now this video is actually a collab with some of my friends. The first guest on the channel today is Larynx. Say hi, Larynx. She's usually a lot more talkative than that. In fact, Larynx usually does all the talking for me. You see, everyone has a larynx, which you might know as your voice box. The larynx has vocal folds which come together and vibrate to make a noise, and that's how you talk. Because the larynx is what allows you to make a noise, it's obviously very important to us when we sing. And that's why, while all of the techniques I'm going to discuss with you today are very important, one of the most important things you can do to take care of your voice is keep your body hydrated. Your vocal folds are covered in a fine layer of mucus which protects them when you sing. The mucus that protects your vocal folds can only be produced when your larynx is hydrated. And obviously, if your body's not hydrated, your vocal folds won't be lubricated and therefore they'll be put at a risk of damage when you try to sing. So, drink up! Your larynx will thank you for it. Oh wait, hold on. Larynx? Has the water not got to you yet? Oh, I see what's happened. Do you remember earlier I said you need to keep your whole body hydrated and not just your larynx? That's because when you drink water, it goes to the most important parts of your body, like your brain, first. Because they're the bits that keep you alive and they need to be hydrated more than your larynx does. Because your body will always make sure that the bits of you that keep you alive are hydrated first. That's why when you get dehydrated, you often get a dry throat. If you're stranded on a desert island, for example, your voice wouldn't be as important to you as other parts of your body. So therefore your body would send water to things like your vital organs first, and then send water to your larynx once your body was hydrated. In fact, in some circumstances, it can take up to 4 hours for water to reach your larynx. So that's why you need to be hydrated at all times, and not just drinking before you go on for a performance. So, Larynx, I'm sure the water's on its way, but can you let me know when it gets there, please? Now, while we wait for the water to get to her, let's talk about a few other techniques you can use to help improve your singing. We have to be very careful and take good care of our larynx when we sing, as it's very fragile and can get damaged easily. We need to get larynx ready to sing, but because she's very fragile, we need to do that very carefully and start warming up gently. To do that, we can use a technique called sirening. No, not that kind of sirening. What we're going to do is get larynx to slide up and down our vocal range. We can do this by saying the word sing, for example, and extending the ng sound that you get at the end of it. Then, what we do is slide up as high in our vocal range as we possibly can, and then come back down to the lowest point in our vocal range. So, let's give it a go. Sing. Important warm-up to remember, because if we started by shouting, for example, then it'd bring the vocal folds together really quickly and it could damage our larynx. But by sirening, it allows the vocal folds to gently come together and warm up the larynx safely. Sirening is also really important to singers because it allows you to check what condition your voice is in. For example, when you get a cold, you often get a little bit of vocal damage from having it. So when you siren with a cold, you may find that there's parts of your range missing where the vocal damage is located. Singers learn to listen for these breaks and can therefore adjust their performance to overcome them. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about is articulation. Articulation is very important when you sing because if you don't articulate your words, people might not be able to understand what you're singing about and it will sound sloppy. So, to help me talk about this, I'd like to welcome my next guest, Tongue. Say hello, Tongue. Now, the tongue is very useful when it comes to articulation, as we use it to form different sounds. If the tongue isn't warmed up, then it's going to make it very difficult for us to articulate what we're saying. One thing we can do is basically make our tongue do laps of our mouth. So you start with the tongue at the top of the mouth, and you go round your mouth 8 times. And then, once you've done it 8 times, you can go around 8 times the other way, and so on. So you basically do 8 times one way, 8 times the other, 4 both ways, 2 both ways, and then 4 singles each way. I'll now get Tongue to demonstrate it. demonstrating that tongue? Now that the tongue is warmed up, let's get it moving with some tongue twisters. Tongue twisters help improve your clarity and articulation when talking, and although they might seem childish, they're a great technique to use. When you do these tongue twisters, start slowly and make sure you articulate every part of the word you say. Then, slowly increase the speed. Make sure you don't lose any of the clarity as you do so. Unique New York.
Unique New York. Unique New York. Unique New York. Unique New York.
Practice makes perfect, and the more you do these exercises, the better you'll become at articulation. It's also important to build up strength in the tongue, as the tongue actually helps you pitch notes as well. If your tongue isn't placed correctly in your mouth, it can really dull the sound of notes. Now, when you sing, it's extremely important that you support your voice. If you do not give your larynx the support it needs, then you put it at risk of damage. The best way to support your voice is to use a technique called anchoring. Anchoring is when you use different parts of the body to help support your voice and give you stability. There are some simple kind of actions you can think about when you sing to help you anchor. They might seem silly, but they help you to understand which muscles you need to activate while singing to help you anchor your body. There are 3 types of anchoring: head anchoring, neck anchoring, and torso anchoring. We can use our head to anchor in different ways. For example, if you flare your nostrils, then you can feel that it activates the muscles in your throat. These are the muscles above and behind your soft palate, and they will help to anchor your larynx when you sing. Likewise, raising your eyebrows also helps support your larynx. Although this might feel really silly, it's going to stretch the muscles around your larynx to give it the support it needs to get out those big notes. The next type of anchoring we're going to talk about is neck anchoring. The easiest way I find to activate the muscles in your neck is to imagine someone pushing against your forehead. And now imagine that you're having to push back against them. Either get a friend to do this or hold your own hand to your forehead and push against it. You should find that doing this activates the muscles in the side and back of your neck, which helps keep your larynx stable and supported. The last kind of anchoring is torso anchoring. Imagine you have 2 heavy bags in either hand. Now, not only have you got these 2 heavy bags in your hand, imagine you're also having to hold lemons under your armpits. This engages the muscles in your back and not only helps to support your larynx, but actually helps support your whole body. It's like the old saying, when life gives you lemons, use them to anchor with. Now that you know these anchoring techniques, you can begin applying them to your singing. People often forget that singing isn't just about your voice. In order to sing safely, you need to engage your entire body, and that's why using head, neck and torso anchoring is so important. If you don't use any anchoring, your larynx will be unsupported and won't be able to hit those big notes. It might end up sounding a little like this.
And I will always love you. Oh, fuck! Right. And I will always love you.
If you engage your entire body and really focus on head, neck and torso anchoring, you might be able to sound something like this. And hopefully you'll be able to take all the techniques I've covered in this video and start applying them to your singing from now on. You're now able to use sirening to warm up your larynx safely and also to check if there's any vocal damage. You also know how to warm up your tongue to help you with articulation and pitch. And of course, you'll now be able to use full body anchoring and really engage your head, neck and torso to help support your larynx when you sing from now on. Now, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.
Later.
Hi guys, so I'm kind of worried about larynx. It's been like 4 hours since I filmed the video, and I know that I said it could take up to 4 hours for water to reach the larynx, but she said she was going to let me know when it got to her and it still hasn't, and I think I better check in on her. So, hey, larynx, can you hear me? Larynx? There she is. Has the water reached you yet? Because it's been like 4 hours and you haven't heard anything. Ah, okay, I mean, it should be there like any moment now. Okay, I'm glad it got there. See you soon then, larynx. Bye! Bye, guys.